She always liked to give hugs, loving. She liked to pretend that she was always a princess. She liked to be around like smaller kids than her. Yeah, she always liked to give hugs and kisses. We're not looking over her.
She is 5 years old, 30 yards away, less than 100 feet, in broad daylight, in a public park surrounded by people. And she is gone. Monday, September 16th, 2019. Bridgeton City Park, Bridgeton, New Jersey. A normal afternoon becomes the worst day of one family's life, and the beginning of a mystery that 6 years later, nobody has solved. The dispatcher stays calm. Noma Alavez Perez does not. Her voice cracks on every other sentence. She is 19 years old. She is pregnant, and her daughter, the little girl she could see from the car 30 yards away, is not there anymore. By the time police arrive, they are already too late. The man witnesses saw leading Dulce away from the swings had at least 30 minutes of road between him and Bridgeton. He is in a red van with tinted windows and a sliding door. He is heading somewhere, and no one knows where. That 30-minute window, between 4:20 p.m. when Dulce was taken and 4:51 p.m. when Noma called 911.
911, where's your emergency?
I can't find my daughter.
Okay, when was the last time you seen her?
We were there at the park and people said that probably somebody took her.
Okay. How old is she?
She's 5 years old.
Okay, and what park are you at?
Here in Bridgeton Park.
Okay, where at in the Bridgeton Park are you?
The one with the basketball court where high school is.
Okay, so you're at the basketball courts behind the high school?
Yes.
Okay. And what was she seen last wearing?
She was wearing, give me a second. I don't remember what clothes she was wearing, but she was wearing...
2014, in Bridgeton, New Jersey, a working-class city of 25,000 in Cumberland County, an hour south of Philadelphia with a large Mexican-American immigrant community. She was 5 years old, brown eyes, black hair, yellow shirt with an elephant on the front, black and white butterfly pants, white dress sandals. By every account from people who knew her, she was loud in the way good 5-year-olds are loud. Full of energy, always in motion, the kind of kid who made noise the moment she walked into a room. She was the oldest child. She was somebody's whole world. That Monday afternoon, her mother Noma, 19, pregnant, drove Dulce's 3-year-old brother Manuel and Noma's own 8-year-old sister to Bridgeton City Park. A routine outing. The kind families take 1,000 times without incident. About 20 minutes before Dulce disappeared, surveillance footage captured the family inside a nearby convenience store. Dulce is in that footage. Alive, healthy, coconut water ice in hand. That image, grainy, ordinary, would become the last confirmed footage of Dulce Maria Alavez ever recorded on camera. 20 minutes later, at the playground, something went wrong. Noma parked near the playground. Dulce and Manuel ran to the swings, 30 yards away, less than 100 feet. Noma stayed in the car, helping her sister with homework, playing a scratch-off ticket. She was pregnant and tired. The children were close. Other people were around. Nothing felt dangerous. At approximately 4:20 p.m., a man appeared near the playground. Bystanders at the nearby basketball court saw him. Witnesses described him as a light-skinned Hispanic male, 30 to 35 years old, 5 feet 6 to 5 feet 8 inches tall, slender build, acne on his chin, no facial hair. He was wearing a black shirt, red pants, and orange sneakers, possibly Nike brand. According to those witnesses, he waved at Dulce. He beckoned her over. She went. Manuel, 3 years old, standing beside his sister, had his ice cream knocked to the ground. Whether that was deliberate or incidental, investigators never confirmed publicly. What the witnesses confirmed is this. The man walked Dulce calmly away from the playground toward a red van parked nearby, a red van with a sliding side door and tinted windows. He opened the door. She got in. He drove away. No screaming. No visible struggle. No alarm raised in real time. Manuel walked back to his mother's car alone. He was crying. He pointed toward the storage buildings near the swings. At 3 years old, he could not explain what he had watched happen to his sister. But later, when investigators spoke to Noma about what Manuel had communicated to her in those first terrible minutes, she said it clearly. The man had waved his hand. Like, come over here. Noma searched the playground. She asked bystanders. She walked behind the storage buildings, calling Dulce's name. Someone told her what they had seen. She picked up her phone. 4:51 p.m. She called 911. The man with the red van had been gone for 30 minutes. Police arrived at Bridgeton City Park fast. What followed was a full-scale search. 9 units, a helicopter, a dive team, over 30 uniformed officers sweeping the park's nearly 1,000 acres of fields, woods, and waterways. Every inch was covered. They found nothing. Not Dulce. Not the van. Not a single piece of physical evidence left behind at the playground. The coconut water ice she had been carrying gone. Her brother's knocked-over ice cream was the only trace of the encounter. Whoever this man was, he moved Dulce quickly and cleanly, and he left nothing behind. Here is the number that matters most in the early hours of this investigation. 6. 6 hours passed between Dulce's abduction at 4:20 p.m. and the Amber Alert that went out at 10 p.m. that night. 6 hours on an open highway. In 6 hours, a vehicle can reach Philadelphia, New York, Baltimore, or cross 3 state lines. That window, whether it resulted from processing time, witness interviews, or departmental procedure, is the single most consequential gap in this case. By the time every patrol unit in South Jersey had Dulce's face on their screen, the red van was somewhere else entirely. Within days, the FBI joined the investigation. The reward for information rose quickly, from an initial offer to $35,000 within weeks, eventually climbing to $52,000 after contributions from New Jersey State Police, the FBI, and private donors. Tips poured in. Hundreds in the first week, thousands over the following months. Police pulled over every red van they could find in Bridgeton and Cumberland County. Surveillance footage was gathered from businesses across the area. The case was listed in the FBI's Missing and Exploited Children database. Dulce's face went on billboards across South Jersey and the greater Philadelphia metro area. The van was never found. No credible confirmed sighting of Dulce emerged after 4:20 p.m. on September 16, 2019. In any case involving a missing child, investigators follow a protocol that is as uncomfortable as it is necessary. They start with the people closest to the child. Not because they are always guilty. In the overwhelming majority of cases, they are not. But because due diligence demands it, and investigators who skip that step risk tunnel vision in the wrong direction. In Dulce's case, Noma Alavez Perez was scrutinized from the first day. She was 19. She was pregnant. She had left 2 small children at a playground while she sat in a car 30 yards away. She could not explain why she hadn't seen the man approach. She was the last adult in a position to stop what happened. The public reaction was immediate and divided. Social media dissected her interviews. People questioned her choices, her tone, her composure on camera. Some accused her outright, without evidence, of involvement. Others defended her with equal force, pointing out that leaving children at a nearby playground for minutes while sitting in eyeshot is something parents do constantly, everywhere, without consequence. Noma did not retreat. She spoke publicly and consistently. They think I did something to her, She said in an interview with NBC 10 in the days after Dulce's disappearance. "I didn't. I love my daughter." Investigators also made contact with Dulce's father, Edgar Perez, who was in Mexico at the time. The FBI reached him there. The details of what was discussed were never made public. Perez has never been named a suspect, and no charges were ever filed against him or anyone else connected to the family. What the physical evidence consistently pointed toward, multiple eyewitness accounts, the Amber Alert built around an unknown male, the description of the red van, Manuel's account, was an external abductor, a stranger, someone who came to that park with a plan. That has not stopped the questions about Noma from persisting in some corners of the internet, 6 years on. In the absence of an arrest, in the absence of a confirmed suspect, speculation fills the void. That is one of the cruelest features of an unsolved case. Everyone near the center of it lives under permanent suspicion because the one person who actually deserves the scrutiny has never been named. On every anniversary since 2019, Noma has spoken publicly about Dulce. The weight of those interviews does not diminish with time. It's been really hard for me and my family. Not knowing where she is, she said on the 5th anniversary in 2024. We just want her to be back home. The Amber Alert went out on the night of September 16th, 2019, with a detailed suspect description. Light-skinned Hispanic male, 30 to 35 years old, 5'6" to 5'8", slender, acne on his chin, no facial hair, black shirt, red pants, orange sneakers, red van, sliding door, tinted windows. That is specific. That is not a vague description of an average person. A man in red pants and orange sneakers, in his 30s, with chin acne, in a red van. That is a real person who was at Bridgeton City Park on a Monday afternoon. Someone in South Jersey or beyond knows who that description fits. Then, 1 month later, police released a second composite sketch. On October 15th, 2019, Bridgeton police announced that a new witness had come forward with a description of a person who may have had information about Dulce's disappearance. The sketch depicted someone who did not match the original Amber Alert description. Police confirmed these were 2 different composites, but they did not confirm whether they depicted 2 separate individuals involved in the abduction or 2 witnesses describing the same person in incompatible ways or something else entirely. That clarification has never come. What happened in Bridgeton after Dulce disappeared is the kind of community response that gets described in newspaper features and then quietly forgotten. It shouldn't be. Within days of the abduction, over 100 people gathered at a candlelight vigil at Bridgeton City Park, at the exact location where Dulce had last been seen. They did not know her. Most of them had never met her family. They came because she was from Bridgeton and because what happened at that playground shattered something that had felt, until September 16th, 2019, like a reasonable assumption about safety. A public park, Monday afternoon, children playing, adults nearby, and still, a child was taken. Parents across Bridgeton pulled their kids off playgrounds. The community watched each other's children with new, anxious vigilance. The park itself became a place people hesitated to bring their families, even as they kept returning every September 16th to stand in her memory. National media amplified the story fast. Dr. Phil dedicated a segment to the case. John Walsh featured on In Pursuit with John Walsh, bringing it to an audience that stretched far beyond South Jersey. Her face appeared on billboards on highways across the region. Every year, local news ran anniversary coverage. Every year, Noma stood in front of cameras and asked for her daughter back. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children became a central partner in keeping Dulce's case visible. Their forensic artist, Christy Andrews, created age progression images of Dulce, showing what she may look like as she grows older. NCMEC releases updated images every 2 years for missing children until they turn 18. Each release brought renewed coverage and a sobering reminder that this little girl is getting older somewhere while the investigation remains open. The most recent age progression was released in 2024. It shows a 10-year-old, dark eyes, dark hair, recognizably connected to the 5-year-old in the original photos, but older, changed. A different face for a different world. Investigators and family alike believe someone may look at that image and recognize something. Recognition is how cold cases break. In February 2021, 17 months after Dulce disappeared, investigators conducted a targeted search in Austintown, Ohio, a suburb outside Youngstown, nearly 500 miles from Bridgeton. The specific lead that prompted that search has never been disclosed publicly. The search did not result in Dulce being found, but the geography matters. 500 miles. That is less than 8 hours of driving from Bridgeton. If the man in the red van left the park at 4:20 p.m. on September 16th, 2019, and drove through the night, he could have been in Ohio before sunrise on September 17th. Before a single morning news broadcast aired Dulce's Amber Alert. Before a single highway camera in Ohio had reason to look for a red van with tinted windows. The Ohio search tells us something critical about how investigators were thinking about this case by 2021. They were not looking locally anymore. They were tracking a suspect who may have traveled a significant distance. A suspect who may have had a destination in mind before he ever arrived at Bridgeton City Park. The reward at that time stood at $52,000. In a case this old, with no arrest, a reward that size still draws tips. It drew 17 new tips in 2024 alone, from Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Nevada, for states. Everyone investigated. None produced Dulce. But Nevada, let that land for a moment. Someone, somewhere in Nevada, called in a tip about a 5-year-old girl who disappeared from a park in southern New Jersey in 2019. That is not nothing. That is the geographic footprint of a case that has traveled, whether through the media, through a network, or because the person responsible traveled. September 16th, 2025. 6 years to the day. Cumberland County Prosecutor Jennifer Webb McRae made an announcement that changed the texture of this investigation. The New Jersey State Police have begun applying artificial intelligence to the physical and technical evidence collected over 6 years of searching for Dulce. This is not symbolic. AI forensic tools being applied to cold and unsolved cases in 2025 are categorically different from anything available in 2019. Surveillance footage that yielded nothing under human review can be reanalyzed frame by frame for details no analyst caught. A partial plate, a reflection, a face at the edge of the frame. Unmatched DNA profiles can be cross-referenced against exponentially larger databases. Behavioral pattern analysis can map movement and geography in ways that were computationally impossible 6 years ago. Our commitment to uncovering the truth has never wavered, Prosecutor Webb McRae said in her anniversary statement. We will never forget, and we remain steadfast in our mission to bring closure to the family. There is also this: no arrests have been made. No suspect has been publicly charged. The case file is not closed. That means every piece of evidence collected since 2019, the surveillance footage, the witness statements, the forensic samples, the tips, is still active, still being worked, and now being worked with tools that give investigators a legitimate reason for optimism that the original investigation did not have. Whoever took Dulce Maria Alavez may have believed that 6 years of silence meant safety. It is not. Cold cases have been broken by a single frame of surveillance footage reprocessed with modern technology. By a DNA profile finally matched to a person in a database that didn't exist when the crime occurred. By someone who held a secret for years and finally decided the weight of it was too much. This investigation is not over. It is evolving. Let's be precise about what this case still needs. The two composite sketches have never been reconciled publicly. Bridgeton police confirmed in October 2019 that the second sketch depicted someone different from the man described in the original Amber Alert, based on a witness who came forward a month after the abduction. 6 years later, no public statement has clarified whether there were two individuals involved, one misidentified individual, or something else. That gap is not a minor detail. It is the central question of who was at that park. The surveillance footage gathered from businesses across the Bridgeton area has never been described in any useful detail to the public. Was the red van captured on any of it? Was the suspect seen on any camera between the park and wherever he drove? If investigators found something on that footage, they have not said so. If they found nothing, they have not explained why. Given the density of surveillance coverage in most American commercial areas, a red van with distinctive features left no traceable path. The Ohio search in February 2021 was prompted by a specific lead. That lead has never been disclosed. What was it? Who provided it? What was found or not found at the search site? These are questions the public record does not answer. And beneath all of those investigative gaps sits the one question that has no documented answer anywhere. What happened to Dulce between 4:20 p.m. on September 16th, 2019, and this moment right now? 6 years, 2 composite sketches, 17 tips in 2024 alone. Artificial intelligence applied to the evidence in 2025. A reward still on the table. A mother who has never stopped asking. The answer exists. It is inside someone's knowledge or someone's memory, or on a piece of evidence that has not yet been processed in the right way. Cases break. They break when technology catches up to the crime. They break when a witness finally comes forward. They break when someone who has been carrying a secret decides they cannot carry it anymore. This one will break. As of 2026, the disappearance of Dulce Maria Alavez is an open, active investigation. No arrests, no confirmed suspect, no resolution. The Cumberland County Prosecutor's Office accepts tips at ccpo.tipsonline. The Bridgeton City Police Department can be reached at 856-451-0033. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children operates a 24-hour hotline at 1-800-THELOST, 1-800-843-5678. The FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you were at Bridgeton City Park on the afternoon of September 16th, 2019, call. If you saw a red van near the playground that day, if you have ever seen either composite sketch and recognized someone, if you know a man who fits that description, light-skinned Hispanic male, 30s, slender, chin acne, who drove or once drove a red van with a sliding door and tinted windows. If you received a tip, saw something, heard something in the years since call, the family is still waiting. The investigators are still working. The reward is still posted. And whoever is responsible for what happened to a 5-year-old girl on a Monday afternoon in a New Jersey park has not, after 6 years, been held accountable for it. That is not how this ends.